Hi, everybody. Welcome. Today, I have the pleasure of a date with my friend Mary.
Hi, everybody. I love being on a date with Terry because she's gorgeous.
Oh, you are.
Stop
we, we
that.
had a mutual admiration thing going on backstage, everybody. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a date. This is like my Sundays with Kevin. It's like I always tell my kids, oh, I got a date with Kevin tonight. So, anyway, everybody coming in. Hello, how are you? Thank you for being here, Liz, Barbara. Anybody coming in later, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here, Mary, because, I feel like our algorithms haven't met all the way yet until today. And today they're going to be like interwoven. But Mary is one of the founders of Earth and Star Wellness, which is an online group, and they also do physical retreats. And you do a lot of work. You're a shaman, you're a healer. You send people on journeys and past lives, inner child, and it's just you do it all. So can you explain it a little bit for us?
Sure. It's literally what I tell people because most of the time when people set up a healing session, if you call me ahead of time, like wanting a consultation, I'm going to tell you, okay, let's really just water it down. You're going to get exactly what you need at the time that you're with me. And not what you need, but what you need, what your energy field needs, what your soul needs when you're with me, however that comes about. Because each session is different. And each session, even for the same person, is very unique each time, depending on what you need. So we can do elements of hypnotherapy, elements of shamanic healing, such as soul retrieval or destiny retrieval or ancestral healing. We just do everything. So we can do different parts of Reiki as we clear the energy field and repair the energy field and repair the chakras. There's literally nothing that you can walk in and tell me is going on with you emotionally, mentally, or energetically that I'll be like, nope, I can't help you in some capacity. Obviously, doctors, professionals, they're up there, always a thumbs up to them. I like to collaborate with them. We're buddies, we're friends. But, we can remove entities. We just do whatever people need to be their best self, to be who they want to be, to feel how they want to feel, to reach the goals that they want to reach. All of the different trainings that we do, they're just tools in the tool belts. So, we have these titles such as shaman or energy worker, just so that people know what they can expect when they come to us. But the reality is that we're just here trying to help everybody out along the way, just trying to shine our light and be that authentic version of us, of our souls that the world needs, that everybody needs right now. So those out there who are trying to get into alignment with their authentic selves, this is a space where we can help.
Beautiful. That sounds gorgeous. So when did you start getting involved in this? Was it as a child that you were seeing the energy and sensing it in other entities, or was it, oh, my stomach's growling at that, so that must mean something?
I like that you're so grounded me. Thank you.
Hi, Kevin. Good to see you, dear.
She said that I'm her date today. I'm just let you know that. Love you though.
So, so yeah. So, how early did this start with you? And then another question on top of that I'm going to throw at you is, when you see energy, what does it look like or feel like, or how do you go into that?
Absolutely. It did start as a kid. I think a lot of our gifts do
Yeah.
start early. And so for me, that looked a lot like just seeing entities that other people couldn't see. I saw a wolf man in my house, and there was what do you call them? A leprechaun. There was a leprechaun that would live in my shower, and he was very terrifying. But I also saw like angelic beings and what we would call dark beings. I saw a lot of different stuff in my childhood home. I did not get into doing this professionally for other people until maybe a decade ago. And that was after doing some deep, deep self healing for years and years and some self training. Guys, like I literally broke out in shingles when I was in my 20s because I was doing so much deep self healing from my own past traumas. Because that's something you have to do, you know?
Yeah.
So, with seeing energies, it's very different if I'm in trance versus when I'm not. Because if I'm in trance, my primary clair is going to be my gift of sight. So I can see all kinds of 3D worlds and colors and people and movements and shapes. But if I'm working on somebody or just eyes open like this going through life, I really only kind of see in grayscale inside of my mind's eye. So when I see energy or perceive energy, it might be through being drawn to a certain area or noticing that one part of the body might be a darker gray than the other part of the body, because I do see a lot in grayscale. But then also I see emotions in color. So, so it's a little different there. Like I see energy in grayscale, but emotions in color. So when we want to manifest things or I'm asking people what they feel, I'm noticing purples or blues or yellows. I see yellow a lot for myself. Interestingly, I see yellow a lot for myself. And then I went and had my aura photography done. Have you ever
Mhm.
done
Yes, I love it. I love it.
that? And my aura was gold.
Yeah, of
The
course.
whole thing was gold. It was like that yellow. And I was like, okay,
Yeah, of
maybe
course
that's
it
why.
was. I'm just looking around for my. I just had. Oh, there it is. Okay, too many crystals on my desk, but just looking around for my citrine because I always see that golden light too, especially for teachers. Really prominent in teachers.
Hmm.
So yeah, um, interesting. The grayscale and the colors. Okay. It's interesting how everybody sees this. I feel like a lot of people see programs coming in, a lot of people see strands or cords and interwoven. And grayscale, you're the first person I've ever heard say that, but I can see it when you say that. I can see it. It sounds so cool. Um, so you also take people into their past lives and work with the field of Kosh, which you do it all.
Yes. One thing that I will encourage people about Akashic records or psychic readings or things like that, because those things are very helpful, and follow them up with some sort of healing. So if you're looking into your Akashic records and you're seeing things that happened back then, how about a past life healing to go to those spaces and claim those gifts and heal those parts? Because when woundings happen in those past spaces, it's the same as when we have woundings in this life. If you go through a trauma in this life, you know it's back there repeating and holding you back from something. It could be bringing up anxiety or fear or, negative belief systems. And the only difference from it happening in a past life is that you just don't remember that it happened. So you think that that's your baseline when it's not. You are capable of so much more without those things blocking you or holding you back. So I used to start people through past life regression by just reading their energy and telling them what I saw.
Yeah.
And I decided over time that it was much more effective to regress people into their own past lives and allow them to see those things. So people, when they're in these trance spaces, they can sometimes meet their guides. Sometimes they're seeing past lives or quantum lives. They're able to claim their own gifts, to just see all kinds of wonderful things, or perceive, not always see. But when we're in that deep level of trance, you can know things and feel things and experience things that feels really profound. And I feel like it helps people on a deeper level to be able to do those things for themselves. And if there's ever anything from the past that the guides don't want them to see because they think it could be re-traumatizing. I've
Sure.
noticed the guides will literally lead them into like a field of flowers or a floating sky and just leave them there. They won't see anything else. And that's when I know, okay, I'm going to step in and see this for you, and I'll let you know what I'm seeing. So we can bring back gifts and power and new belief systems and things that really help them become their most empowered version of self.
I feel like that's so important. I love that you do this, Mary. It's so interesting, and it's healing that little piece of ourself, that child, and bringing them forward into hugs and our embrace again, because we do leave those little facets of ourselves. When you look at that, because I'm a very linear person, and my guides are always telling me, Terry, you're so linear, but like, what dimensions do you go to when you feel into that, or is it I know that they overlap quite a bit, but like, do you go into zero dimension? Do you go into eighth dimension? Do you come into the 3D, or is it a journey throughout?
That's an interesting question, and I've never been asked that before. It
Whoop.
also challenges belief systems because I
Yeah.
believe that we have all of the dimensions within our energy field currently, especially
Right.
as you move through the chakras. So, for me to be able to answer that, I would have to think about where in the energy field a person has or is holding an imprint or a trauma. So if they're holding an imprint or a trauma from past lives, ancestral stuff, anything that's making them insecure, we're probably down in that first dimension. We're down in that root space. And
Yeah.
these can go all the way up to that seventh dimension, or even above that to the eighth dimension, because that's where we live in spirit, or where we live in God, versus where God lives in us as we come down to this part of the energy field. So I believe we move through all of those spaces, as well as the null space, because that is the quantum space. And I like to work in the quantum space because that's the nothingness from which everything grows. So if I really want to, once we're really good with clearing everything out, if we
Yeah.
want to implant something to start growing, we go to that null space, that quantum space, so that every cell created after that healing, so that every thought generated after that healing, every single step forward from then on out is based in that new thing that we just implanted in the quantum field. So we go everywhere.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. It is all overlapping, and sometimes I feel like that zero dimension that you were talking about, or the null, the point in between, is like probably one of the most important spaces of infinite potential. Um, yeah, yeah, it's just getting there, right? Tearing out all the stuff in between.
Yes, and I think that that's what quantum healing is supposed to be. So I do elements of quantum healing, add that to the to the
Yeah,
list here. Yeah, so absolutely. But I love how you phrase that, the potential, the limitless potential. I love that phrasing.
yeah. Thanks, thanks. It's not mine; they gave it to me. So
They're part of you.
yeah, it's interesting, and then you have retreats as well,
Mhm.
that you do. So, speaking of which, Kevin's here, and there's a retreat this summer in Canada, and I see Richie and other people that are going. So, lots of love to everybody. So, the retreats that you do at Earth and Star Wellness, I do feel like it's really important going into community right now for all of us. Whether that community is in chat here on YouTube, but if we have the potential to do it and to travel, or to do it better yet at home, right, with a group, a family, wherever you have them. So, and it doesn't have to be somebody that we're related to, but can you describe what you guys do with that, with your retreats?
Yeah, and I love that you brought up community, because that's really what it's all about, even from the beginning. So even though we have, a virtual community, the virtual parts were all based around community. So we have a lab group, which is Life's Anonymous Battles, that's run by my associate teacher, Erin. And so once a month, we all get together virtually and we just talk and share about our lives. So we're keeping that community base going every month. And then once or twice a year, we'll get together and have these retreat spaces where we can come in person. And we're all traveling, from all over the world to get there. We travel too, because we don't always have them here where I live. We go to other states and things like that. And so when we're there, well, having a virtual community is important because it's something that you can access from the comfort of your home, and it's very convenient, and you can probably feel very safe being there. There is no experience like being at retreat with a group of other like-minded individuals who all support you and care about you and want to see you do well. Our last retreat, and I tend to do like the smaller, more intimate retreats where we can all really take part in things. So I think my last one, we only had 34 people there or something like that. And I'm telling you, people came out of that high, elevated. And I heard feedback like I never knew it was possible to feel so incredibly loved and connected and supported by other people before. Because we're getting out there, we're going through ceremony together, we're being initiated together, we're dancing together, drumming together, going through really deep, big stuff. And everyone around us is rooting for us and hugging us and helping us get from point A to point B. And it's really a peak moment. These online communities keep everything enmeshed, keep us all supported as we go through life. And the retreats are the peak moments where we get the evolution that we need in that moment and then integrate it in. And my cat just came through somewhere. That it's time for him to be part of this.
Oh, well, my cat's back there on the bed. I can't really see him now because of my chair, but yeah, they're all in the game, man. Talk about our animals too. So that's huge, isn't it? Because I fully believe that they reincarnate many times with us when we're in this lifetime, much less other times. But yeah, they're just so amazing. And I love that you guys are doing that, all these retreats, because I feel like it is like the cherry on top. It's like if we get the possibility to do that. And I know that some of you guys meet with each other too, in different areas. And it's just huge if you can have that community around you. Nothing like it. So anything else that you want to talk about today? Well, we were going to talk about resets today, weren't we? So, yeah, anybody that's watched the news today or this weekend, there's a lot going on the planet right now. So, what would you say to people to help reset their nervous system today?
Today, breathe. Just breathe for today. Just for today. If you can breathe, and it's not even a cliche, touch grass. Just go, roll in it. Roll in some dirt for today. Get yourself dirty. Get your hair all matted up. Act like a bunny rabbit or a cat or something. Just get outside and really ground into nature today. And there's multiple reasons for that, because one, if you are in nature or outside for at least 15 minutes, you've given yourself enough time for Mother Earth to take all of that negative energy and to replace you with this grounded, aligned, peaceful, stable energy. So it is that. And then also knowing that you are a person of light, that you have love in your heart, that you mean well, and that you want a peaceful life and a peaceful planet. That's giving healing vibes to the earth also, and sending that out across the world where it's needed without you even having to think so hard about what can I do? And that's The first important thing to do, maybe when we're triggered or having heaviness or heightened emotion. Now, after that, when we can see more clearly, I think it's really, really important for us to speak truth, to continue to speak truth, to not let things be pushed under the rug or forgotten, and to continue to advocate for accountability and responsibility and for integrity. There's a lot that's been going on for the past few years that is the planet working through opening up different dimensions, opening up its own chakras, if you will. And right now, we're focusing on the fifth dimension, the fifth chakra, the throat. The throat is where we speak truth. So that's out there, speaking the truth, keeping the truth going, not allowing ourselves to be distracted or blinded or blindsided, continuing to speak truth. The throat is also the space of your gift of clairaudience. So hearing the truth and not allowing yourself to be clouded or have the wool pulled over, because you can hear what's real and authentic and what is somebody trying to dupe you. The throat is also the space where you align your free will choices with a higher goal. It's coming into alignment with your future, with your destiny. And so if we can just live in our throat spaces clearly, authentically, with accountability and integrity, it's going to really bring change. That's what us light workers really, really, really need right now.
I love it. I love that you say that. And when you're talking about that throat chakra and speaking our truth, um, you know, I'm brought up with the thing of shame. And so many of us have so much shame, and especially as light workers, perhaps we've been through a lot of traumas, which a lot of empaths have had the opportunity of growth through those traumas. But also the throat chakra and shame are so really getting that shame out there, and the shameful acts that we're watching. Can you talk about that? About how that we can release that shame?
You know, I'm not sure if this is going to answer your direct question, but when you're talking, I'm hearing a lot about childhood trauma,
Yes.
is what I'm hearing. And
Yeah.
so this kind of goes back to what we were saying before. We've got to clear those blockages, because until then, anytime we speak or advocate for ourselves or try to
Mhm.
hold someone accountable, we immediately throw it back into our own faces. I'm
Mhm.
not allowed to stand up for myself. I shouldn't do this because I'm this way. Who am I? I don't deserve. Like, these are the things that are ingrained in that subconscious mind from things that we went through as children or as younger people. So it's really about allowing ourselves to visit that inner child, to heal those spaces. And I'll be honest, you don't even have to go to a healer to do this. You can just sit with your inner self and give that person love and acceptance, permission, if you will, and watch that person begin to mature and grow and fill you, so that when you speak, it's no longer with the, can I say something? With your real high pitched voice. It's more like, this is what I'm saying, and you will listen, and you will not interrupt me, and you will not try to gaslight me. You will not tell me I do not know what I know that I know, because I know it and I'm going to speak it. And so
Mhm.
it's the inner maturity that comes with inner child healing as time goes on. So getting through the trigger of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to pull this up because I love this, Mary Thornberry. Is some of that generational trauma as well. She's bringing
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do we not see the repeating cycles happening time after time after time? Like, that's a really good question, Mary. Thank you for asking
Mhm.
that. Yeah, it feels like just cycles keep going. And so we've come into a time through the different movements that have happened where this generation is what's going to stop and break the chains of things that have happened in the past. So no longer will I tolerate this in my family. No longer will I do the things to my children that my parents did to me or that my grandparents did. It's absolutely putting our foot in the door and stopping it and saying, this ends here.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So much of it is the story that we tell ourselves, isn't it? And the self talk. And I always look at that because I'm linear as the back of the throat chakra. And what we're saying to ourselves is so important right now. And so walking out of fear with that, because it's quite easy to go into the fight or flight response, and regulating our nervous system back into peace. So I love that you're talking about breathing. Are there any other like little tools that people like a 5-step program or something, or 4-step or 1-step, whatever it has to be, linear, that we can walk into and use?
Well, I really liked what you were talking about with self-talk, because it feels like, to me, how I operate in healing is that I believe our mind informs everything. I believe that our subconscious thoughts, or how we speak to ourselves, tell our emotions how to feel. And when our emotions feel that way, our energy field begins to flow and vibrate in a way that matches that emotion. And so that's what we're giving off. And so if we are telling ourselves all the time, there's nothing that can stop me, I'm amazing, I'm at peace, I'm secure, I'm provided for, people love me, then your emotions eventually start going, yeah, I'm loved, I'm sunshine, everything's great. And then your energy field starts to vibrate that too. Now, there's a fine line between that and spiritual bypassing.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure if there actually is a trauma there, that we're looking at straight on, truthfully, and actively trying to heal that, through your inner child work, or seeing a healer or a therapist. And even they, especially like REBT, they tell you, okay, it's about the mind. So let's focus on the subconscious. What does little you keep informing you about itself? What does it believe about the world? What does little Mary think is happening when this person says or does this thing? Because that's what's informing us of how we're perceiving the world. It's absolutely in the thoughts and in the self-talk.
Yeah.
And then you also mentioned how that brings us into like a fight or flight response.
Right.
Absolutely. And I've noticed lately, like within the past few years, that the response that we're getting more, and I don't know if this has something to do with the nervous system or the collective energies, what I've noticed more is that people are freezing.
Oh, huge. That freeze is huge. Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot.
Yeah.
And that is why we're being called to speak more and to see more truth, because no longer are we in the space where just because we don't agree with someone, if where we're at with it is complacency means agreement. Things will continue if we're complacent. We can't just separate ourselves from things all the time and then say, well, that's not my reality, that's not really happening, it doesn't affect me, because everything affects the collective. We have to make sure we're moving through our stuff. We have to make sure that we're taking a fearless inventory of what our fears are and where our prejudices are and how we could be contributing to the light or the darkness of the planet. Zero action right now in this moment means complacency and allowance of whatever is happening. But action doesn't have to mean like marching to Congress or flying airplanes and jet fighters. Taking action can simply be doing your daily meditation. Taking action can mean going out and sitting in the grass for 15 minutes and breathing out for 5 seconds and holding it for 5 seconds and breathing in for 5 seconds and holding it for 5 seconds. Taking action can mean being kind to that person that you just saw at the grocery store, because every single little act like that is your 1, 2, 3, 4 steps towards resetting your nervous system and bringing light to the world.
Yeah, definitely. And everybody's got some great comments here. Ashraf, hate me, I'm laughing. Usually, naturally, in critical, serious moments, people love me. I'm kind always. Aw. Kevin says paralysis, 100%, that freeze moment. And, it's funny, we can be intuitive and still freeze, right? Like, I remember a time in my life when there was the death of my husband, and I completely froze. I was running a business. I didn't know how I knew what I was doing, but I was doing everything right. I was getting all the paperwork done. Intuitively, I knew what to do with my kids, I thought. And but but at the same time, I was always exhausted.
Mm.
And it takes so much energy to freeze. And like you're saying, when you're in your flow and you're either meditating, doing breath work, dancing, screaming, whatever you need to do to get it out, you have so much more energy to shine your light and to help the planet and others around us, don't we? So, and Mary's saying, yep, I agree, frozen and not wanting to thaw at all. Hey, you know what? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it, Kevin, right? Action inward. Love that. Yeah. Beautiful. So, anyway, if anybody has some questions, we'll probably take some in a little bit. I was trying to think of like a good way that we could kind of sum up how people can come into their joy through this time period.
Mm. I'm letting images coming into your joy. Coming into your joy is really kind of simple. I think that people just don't give themselves the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because joy really comes through the little things. Like right now, from now on, the sun is changing. The sun has already changed. So we're getting more and more sun already. So if you're one of those fire people like me who literally just waste away in the wintertime, it's been a thing, you're going to get more of that sun. So your joy might be getting to go outside and sit in a warm spot like a little kitty cat and just soak it up for a little bit. For someone like Terry, maybe your joy is in dance and movement and just allowing whatever wants to come through. Joy could be sitting and watching a bird through the window, the wind move through the trees. Joy is simple. Joy is always present. It's really a matter of, okay, am I giving myself the time to be quiet and to notice the joy that's happening right now? And joy is different for every person. I find a lot of joy even through this dark winter where I've been waning away. I have these little prisms in my kitchen window.
Mm-hmm.
And so at just the right time, for a little 15-minute window, the sun that's going down shines through the prisms and my kitchen looks like a rainbow.
Oh.
All these rainbows all over it. And so for 15 minutes that day, if I let myself be quiet and if I give myself time to sit during that window, I can soak up that joy because it's there to be observed. We just have to observe it. But beauty does not beg to be seen. It's up to us to reach out and make that space for ourselves. So there's so many different ways. And I'm seeing things in the chat too. I think someone said Kundalini energy is rising. But like the reading, the music, anything, little things can bring you joy, and you just have to give yourself that time to engage with it.
Yeah. Barbara, yeah. Petting a kitty, right? Yeah. Your cat, your animals. Yeah. I love that, Kevin. We create the space for joy, 100%. Reading and music bringing joy, Lauren. So it's interesting if we are not noticing how we're creating the joy. every day, it kind of brings in the senses, doesn't it? Like how we sense things. And you were talking about seeing the rainbows. I don't know anybody else out there, but I'm seeing more rainbows in different parts of my house that don't have a crystal there or something. But our senses are changing too, don't you feel like?
I
Yeah.
do. I do think that. Yeah. There's just something about allowing that space because it's all just there for us. Is just that time and that space and the inner quiet to allow for it. I feel like there's something coming up around animals. You mentioned animals earlier. My cat made a huge ruckus at the door earlier, and I'm not sure why, but something just feels like it's coming up around animals. I don't know what that looks like right now.
You know, it's funny because yesterday Kevin saw an eagle outside and brought pictures into the show. I was walking with my daughter the day before, and in the middle of the day, saw a white owl
Ooh.
soaring over us for like 15 minutes. Um, so it's just they're all coming in, right? And
Your
everybody's talking to all their animals now.
your animals are so majestic. The white owl and the eagle. This morning I was recording in the woods behind my house, and when I replayed the video, there was a cat that walked up through the woods behind me and sprayed the bush next to me and walked away. So that video will be coming out Thursday.
Find joy in the little things, right? Oh, well, I just had a reading for somebody, and it's funny because we were talking about looking for signs from our guides, and I said, you know, be careful because you'll send me a sign, and all of a sudden all the birds start splatting all around you. And she goes, oh my God, that happened to me last week. And I said, yeah, it happened to me 3 weeks ago. And so really, you know, and I found joy in that because I thought, well, it was messy, but it was, it was
Literally.
yeah. They will not like you when you learn cleansing, you walking, breathing, connecting the dots, always changing your frequency. Yeah, yeah, it changes our relationships with the world, and it changes our relationships sometimes with our families and our friends. So, can you speak to that too? Because I feel like that's something that changes because your interests change, because your energy changes.
Absolutely. That's true. And I feel like you come into more authentic relationships as well.
Yeah,
That's something I hear a lot is that when people start their healing path, they immediately start having friction in their relationships. So, for instance, I teach shamanism, and that's a year-long course. And I can't tell you how many people step into the course in a relationship, dating somebody or married, and then within 3 months, they're like, I want a divorce. I'm leaving this person. And I will say that like 95 to 98% of the time, they'll finish the course and not have divorced. They've come back around, but
yeah,
that everything comes back around. And this could include friends, because when you start the healing process, you start to change. And when you start to change, you start to put down more aggressive boundaries. You start to call people on their junk. And then you're also learning how to clear yourself. So sometimes it can distance you from the people who have been used to stepping over your boundaries, or the people who are used to taking more advantage, or the people who you give more to than you receive from. And it creates that little bit of distance. And I think it creates that distance naturally, anyways, to give you this little energy bubble to heal in, because by the time you come through that healing process, sometimes you reconnect with some of those same friends and family, but with a different level of respect. So it doesn't always mean completely disconnecting from everybody. It might just be a short time and then you come back together. And sometimes you end up with a completely different set of peers or friends who are on a different level, who understand you. Um, and have more like-minded thoughts and feelings that you do as well. But pretty common. We're sifting through and finding something more authentic to our true souls inside, or finding something that's authentic to who we are now.
Yeah. 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 Loving people where they're at and finding joy with what you've got. Right. It's not always easy. I remember one time, Linda, I told Linda this story and she was like, oh my God. But, she was pulling cards for members and she, pulled judgment for me. And I'd been talking to somebody in my family who I truly love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we judge ourselves and we judge our family because we love them so much. And not poorly, but I was just judging because how can I help you? Or, why would you say that? And because we want to change them, but it's not ours to change, is it? To control. Yeah.
True. Yeah, that's why we kind of come back together sometimes, especially family, but with a different level of respect and appreciation, because we understand that things change. We understand that we have to, something keeps coming up to me and I can't even ignore it. It keeps coming up over and over and over again. So somebody, maybe it's because we're in a chat, like I'm trying to answer your question and I keep getting kicked sideways. This judgment, maybe not specifically you, Terry, but
Yeah.
it just is a message coming through. Judgment is often a side effect of an abandonment wound.
Yeah.
So if
100%.
you feel judged a lot in your life, and most of the time people notice that more than they notice that they're judging others, it's probably because there's an abandonment wound inside that's wanting to become more secure. It's something inside of you that's wanting to be healed. So that inner child space. So I don't know who needed to hear that today. That was coming through very, very strong as needing to be heard.
I think we can all hear it every day. I feel like it's, the constructs of society right now, we are shedding them like crazy, right? Like you have to be quiet. You can't see spirit. You can't heal. You can't change your story is our story sometimes. And I think the more that you get on and say these things, Mary, the more the earth heals. So yeah, brava. So
Thank you. And it is about learning how to love yourself, how you are. Because when we heal, we don't always realize that we're projecting outwards a lot of what's been held inside. And so the more we come into self-love and self-appreciation and unity and alignment within, the more we're able to observe and love the people around us without feeling like they have to understand everything about us or think exactly how we think. It's a manner of respect to love someone who's very different from you and have them love you in return just because there's love there.
I love that. Oh, this has been a great date.
I love our date. I wish I had flowers.
Oh golly, I've got mine in the other room. So I would give
I
you.
meant to give you. I'm the man. I wear the pants in this relationship, Terry.
So, so yeah. So what we say to others and how we honor ourselves and how we honor others and respect others, and that's just like that giving the flowers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Giving our gifts, and when we give gifts, we get gifts. The reciprocal, that energy exchange is huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I love that you're talking about like just shining our light because I feel like that's how that's how this is all gonna happen. Hi, Mystic. Mystic says, thank you both for your authenticity and guidance. We will change the frequency of the planet to love. Okay, well, we're done. That's it. I love that. Yeah. Hey, Garnet, how are you? Anyway, so if anybody has any questions, we got a few minutes here and we'll either pull a card or answer a question, or if you want to talk about anything else, Mary.
I think someone has a question about their pet.
Oh, okay.
Someone has a pet question. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm a pet communicator or anything like that. That's not my main thing, although I think that we can communicate with rocks and plants
Oh
and
God, yeah.
animals and things like that. But there's definitely something around that that keeps coming up over and over. And like my cat, since I've gotten on with you, he's just all over the place, in and out, in and out. He's like, something's going on.
I
There's energy.
yeah, I think it's ZZ talking to him too. Um,
Oh.
yeah, I do pet communication.
Okay.
But I do feel like they are all coming in right now. So it's interesting. So I'm going to wager that perhaps something you're going to see today, everybody here, something you're going to hear today is going to be a sighting of one of your guides coming in and coming forward for you. And so really watch that, like whether whether the birds come up and splat on you and give you good luck.
The cat spraying on the bush. Like you're saying that, and I'm like, what were my guys trying to say?
Well, really, releasing is a huge thing. It's a great shamanic tool, isn't it?
Yes.
So anybody that hasn't weed on a tree for their shaman, you know.
I'm trying to justify it in myself. I think I like mark my territory. I like that message.
Boundaries.
Take your space. Hold your
Yeah.
space. There it is.
Oh,
That's
there
the
it is.
interpretation.
I love that. Hey, Jules, how are you? So, well, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Alice, hello, lovely, and Jules. Um, I do kind of feel like the animals are showing us things, and that's going to bring me to inner Earth and how important that is. I think that there's so much going on with inner Earth and the rock people and the animals, the elementals. Um, right now, let's see. Garnet says, "Come on, all you rolling minstrels." Minstrels, yeah. And together we will raise the spirits of the earth beneath the ruling of sky. Wow. Okay. He's always quoting songs that I don't know.
Well, I know I saw that in the chat, and I was like, is he a bard?
he,
Because
he is.
he is. Okay,
He
yeah.
is
So
totally.
druidic training as well. So I'm still in the middle of all of that.
Well, you got it because he's from the UK too. So
Okay,
yeah,
there
he's
you go. I was like, there's a bard in the show.
oh,
You don't see him very often.
yeah. And here's the beautiful Diana, oil painter. Hello, beautiful. Yeah, the cats do protect our area, don't they?
I like that interpretation. Thank you.
Yeah. And oh, Ivy Starflower, what a beautiful name. I okay, you had a black Clydesdale come to you very clearly in a dream.
Mm. I know what that means. I don't know if you want me to say it on your show. So let me find a way to say it. Clydesdale, if you think about it, they're very big horses. I don't know if any of you guys have stood next to one, but they are tall.
Yeah.
And they're also steady. And so anytime we see specifically a Clydesdale, it's usually coming to a woman who needs the protection from men.
Oh.
Very specifically, it's healing that woman energy. It's healing the womb space. It's protecting the child. So that's a very specific dream to have.
Huh. So that could be a father wound or a male wound.
Absolutely.
Male energy. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Sometimes you can look at them also like a workhorse. So maybe you've been working a little too hard also, Ivy, on something and draining that energy, which could again be a father wound. So yeah.
I feel complete in that now. So maybe it wasn't a question about a pet. Maybe it was an animal spirit guide, just like in the dream.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, something was nagging about that. I was like, there's a question about an animal here that has to be
Yeah.
spoken.
Oh, I love this, Mary Thornberry. Okay. They are majestic. And I think they seem to think it's also that they know who they are and they're a bad A. So you can probably say that,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
that's beautiful. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, thanks so much for being here. Mary, I hope this is one of many dates that we have together. So it's been so much fun, and we'll see you all later. What do you have coming up?
I'm going to bring you red roses next time. So
Oh, yes,
putting that out there. I have some red roses, but I already gave them to my Sophia altar, so I can't just take them back. You'll get your own roses. You'll get.
Oh, I love that. I love that. All right. Well, okay, everybody. We'll see you later. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.